everybody. I know I released a video recently, me doing the brake refresh on the Integra, but those of you that know me and follow me know that that's not my typical type of content. So now we are finally back to do just that, to bring you back my regular typical content, what I typically do. So it's been a minute since I came back to the shop. As you guys know, I've had a lot going on with Tommy's van. That video is still not 100% completed because there is a lot of stuff that even now still needs to get touched up with that van. Really, it's not a lot of stuff. It's you'll see in more detail some of the things that we had to dealing with that van. And also keep in mind, it was my very first like small block type of build. Hold on. Yeah, it was a small block build. Like, it was a Chevy small block, it is a Chevy small block, but it's not an 8-cylinder. It's just a 6-cylinder. But it's the same thing as if you were to work on a 350, 305, whatever. It's all set up the same. Oh man, but that's all done and over with for the most part. He might need my help putting the headers up, and then he still has a lot of fine tuning and stuff like that to do. So you guys will see the end of that series coming here soon. It's been spread out. I've been busy with a lot of stuff. And yeah, so this week I actually took a vacation from work just so I could get caught up on all these projects that I have. The main one being this thing behind me, Gabriel's Integra. And I have been coming over here and working, and I haven't really been recording because there's been a few kinks that I've needed to work out. So first thing being, if you don't remember, there's an MFactory diff going into this transmission. Once I put the bearings onto this differential, when I went to set it down, when I closed the casing, it didn't want to spin freely. So I pulled it out, and I guess one of the bearings just wasn't fully seated, like 100%. So what we ended up doing was we went ahead and pressed it in a little bit more, and now the bearing is 100% fully seated, and with the casing torqued down, now it actually free spins. So last night I went ahead and took the liberty of just cleaning this up, getting all the dust and grime and crap out of there. I gotta clean that up today just to make sure I hit it with some brake cleaner. And then these are the stacks for that transmission there. Those gotta get hit with brake cleaner and stuff too, because they've just been sitting here for months. I'm sure they've got dust and all types of stuff on them. And then we could throw them in the casing. As far as the long block goes, or as far as the block itself goes, if you guys remember in one of my last episodes, if you haven't seen it, go back and watch that, where I was explaining about the piston to wall clearances and why this motor came back out and got torn apart and why it had to go to the machine shop and all that. It's a lot of good information if you're looking into building these engines. So we got that all settled, and basically I came in here yesterday and I threw on the oil pump, and I threw on the water pump, and I threw on the rear main seal housing with the seal in it, of course. And I threw on the windage tray. I went to put on the pickup tube, and as you know, the pickup tube comes with a little gasket that sits right here. So here's the one that came off of this, and if you notice, I mean, I don't know if that would work or not. Like, if this was my motor, my own motor, and I just like really didn't care, I would probably run this anyways. But given the fact that this motor is going to be making a good amount of power in stock form, we kind of want to eliminate all the variables of what could make it fail prematurely. So I went ahead and stopped where I was working, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and order a set of new gaskets. So I went ahead and ordered myself a set of new gaskets. They came in via Amazon today, and I think it was like $12 for 2 of them. So we're going to take a look at those, and then we're going to go ahead and throw those back in here so I can get the pickup on, get the oil pan done, and then I can flip this motor over and assemble the head and the turbo manifold and all that other good stuff. So that's what we're going to be getting started on right now. So this is what you get right here, guys. So it comes with that pickup tube gasket, and it comes with an O-ring. The O-ring sits right here, if I remember correctly, on the oil pump. But this is a brand new oil pump, so we don't really have to replace the O-ring. It's just the oil pump doesn't actually come with this gasket here. So you have to kind of like reuse yours. And I've reused them in the past. I've never really had an issue. But like I said, this thing is going to be making some jam. And I really don't want to risk any kind of premature failure because this gasket decides to crack or something, and then we lose oil pressure and it hurts the bottom end. There's a lot of money in this bottom end, so I really don't want to think of that as even a factor. So, you know, it's $12 for 2 of these. I got 2. So if you guys are building something of this magnitude, just go ahead and get yourself the $12 gasket and just throw it on. Better to be safe than sorry. GSR pickup tube is installed. Now we can install the oil pan, which is over there and disgusting and dirty. But it is an aftermarket oil pan. So now we're gonna go ahead and clean that up, and then we can throw it on the car. All right, y'all. So oil pan is squeaky clean, and it was kind of a pain to get in there. There's actually a bunch of like, I don't know if it was metal or gunk or what from like the last motor. But I managed to get my hand inside that baffle. Was a pain, but I basically just fed like brake cleaner through all these holes right here and just kind of all let it come out the bottom, and then I just flipped the pan over a few times to let it all run back and forth until I eventually got like all of it out. So but yeah, so that's where we're at. So we're gonna go ahead and throw this bad boy on. We got us one of those Velcro metal gaskets. It's got metal inside the rubber, that way it doesn't squish, and it actually seals correctly. And yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and throw all this together, and then I should be able to flip the motor on and get the head on. All right, y'all, so got the homie EJ back on the channel. He came through, is giving me a hand with finishing up the assembly of this thing, and we're making progress. We're moving along. Yep, so we're moving forward on the head studs here. Just putting the nuts in. Everything's pretty much in place. The head is on the block and everything. Now we just got to torque the head down to the block, and then after that I can go ahead and turn this sideways, and we can start getting the whole turbo system back on, just like how it was when we first started taking it apart. Then I'm gonna move on to this thing, get this thing sealed up and ready to go, and hopefully by the end of the night I can have everything made it together, and not in the car, but at least have it made it together and ready to go into the car. So I'll go ahead, start off with that one. And make sure you got your hand on that very end there, so that way you don't move the... Alright, y'all, so we're putting the cam caps on now. We got the cams and everything in place. And if you've never done this before, I don't know if I've ever explained it in a video, but these do have numbers on them. And a rule of thumb on any motor you work on, usually an arrow points to the front of the motor. So in this case, you got number 2, because number 1 is here. 2, 3, 4, and then you're gonna have 5 here. And then when you torque these, make sure you torque them, like in this case it's a B16 head. B16 heads get torqued to 16 foot-pounds. If you have a GSR, it's 20 foot-pounds. Why they're different, I don't know. I'm just going off what the book says. So just make sure B16 16 foot-pounds, GSR 20 foot-pounds.